After a long week cashing, you're just in the mood for crashing. Go get that 2-minute minor for slashing and come on down to the Sin Bin, your number one location for hockey information. With Matt.
I saw a fucking Chinese kid review a toy that looks like a dildo, and he gets $10 million over it.
And Jake.
It's just what you do at your time. Some people do mediocre podcasts, and some people fucking shit on football fields.
So lock your wife in the closet, grab a room temperature beer, put your hand halfway down your boxer briefs, and blast your stereo for the greatest hockey show! This is the Sin Bin! Take it away, Matt.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are the best damn hockey show on the internet. My name is Matt, and this is the Sin Bin Hockey Podcast. We are October 28th, 2019, and I am so glad that you've joined us to talk about hockey for a bit here. I am with, of course, my co-host, Jake Link. How are you, buddy?
Sup, hockey people?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about all of the hockey news in the past week. I think we're officially episode 9, and as I said, we got a full schedule. We're going to talk about the Rantenen injury. We're going to talk about the Islanders fans and how they don't like hunting. We're going to talk about the massive tornado and how it ravaged Seguins and Ben Bishop's home. We're going to talk about a lot of things, so you guys just stay sitting, listening to our podcast, and feel free to comment once the episode drops. Now, I say once the episode drops, usually we stream these things live. Now, given my poor internet situation, which will be fixed in a couple of weeks, but given a poor situation right now, we can't do it live, so we're going to do it off air, and then later drop it for you guys. But for still the same, make sure to comment, make sure to like, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more hockey content. So, Jake, episode 9.
Episode 9.
Yeah,
we're
getting
here.
up
We
there.
made it.
Yeah. So
We made it.
how has your past week been? Like, did you do
My past
anything
week has
interesting?
been a lot of Halloween stuff. Lots and lots and lots of Halloween stuff with my little one.
Ah, okay. I was thinking of doing a Halloween episode, but I didn't have any costume, so it's gonna have to wait till next year.
I have the Slapshot Chiefs jersey. I want to next year. We should just dress up as yeah.
Wait, which number do you have? Because there's 3.
I think I have 18.
Okay, good. Because I have 17. So we're good. I'll be.
It might be 17. It doesn't matter because you have the mullet on, and you're just gonna see the front of the jersey anyway.
Yeah.
So
I had the
next
choice, obviously, between 16, 17, and 18. I thought 17 was a nice number, so I decided to go with that one. But
I think it's 7. I want to say it's 17. It might be 18. I'll find out after the show. Because 17 was the number I used to have to wear in soccer in high school.
yeah.
I had it all 4 years.
So
yeah.
for you guys at home, the time we're recording this, it's currently 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got the game, the Buffalo Sabres versus the Arizona Coyotes in the background. It's currently 2-2. It looks like it's going to be headed to overtime unless something happens. But you know what, Jake? This past Saturday, it was a big game. It was the Montreal Canadiens versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. And obviously it's a historical rivalry, but over the past couple of seasons, I would say that rivalry, it kind of extinguished. There's nothing really there. It got reignited the past few years because the Toronto Maple Leafs are a better team with all of their overpaid superstars. And Montreal's a really competitive team, so it kind of got reignited. So what we did for this game, me, myself, my sister, and 2 of our cousins, we went to this restaurant called La Cage au Sport. Can you say that, Jake?
Is La Cage au Spa? Does that mean the casual bar?
Close. It means the cage, the sports cage, I think would be the best translation.
The sports cage.
The sports cage. And it's this really big sports bar in Quebec. And I constantly see commercials for it. And for my whole lifetime up to this point, I've never been to one. I've never seen a Canadians game.
So
there.
is it like in the States we have Buffalo Wild Wings? Is it kind of like that?
Sort of.
Like are they a
Sort of.
chain?
They're a
Like
chain,
a Canadian chain?
but there's a
Okay.
few differences between them and Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm gonna get to that. So obviously, I hear all of these commercials on TV, La Cage au Sport, and they have this promotion. When the Canadians score 5 goals, everyone in the restaurant gets 8 free chicken wings. 8 free chicken wings. I don't know if it's the party that gets 8 or each person, but I know that when the Canadians score, people get chicken wings. Score 5 goals. Now, I heard this sports bar. I heard it was a big thing. I go there. I was kind of disappointed because my cousins that I went with, as I mentioned, they're not 18. So we couldn't sit in the bar section. And all of the quote-unquote action, all of the atmosphere, it was coming from the bar section. Everyone else that weren't in the bar section, they were kind of families, and they didn't really care about the hockey. So we kind of got screwed. If you decide to go, people in the Montreal area, if you decide to go there, make sure you're in the bar section because that's where the big screen was, and that's where the atmosphere was. I ended up leaving at the end of the second period. The Canadians were winning, I think it was 2-2 by that point. And I decided to go home to just to have my sofa and just to be more comfortable. And I was like, okay, screw this. The chicken wings suck. The food was decent. I just decided to go home. Believe it or not, the Canadians scored 5 goals. So I ended up missing on the chicken wings, but hey, I guess next time I'll go to the bar section and everything will be fine. But that was my sports cage experience. Do you watch much games in sports bars like Buffalo Wild Wings, or like what's the deal?
Okay, well, I prefer to watch like sports and stuff like and from the comfort of my own home when I can. You know, if Peppa Pig's not on the fucking TV. I have a 3-year-old, so there's a couple of times I'm like, hey, can we just watch hockey? No, I'm watching my shows. It's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
But to keep the peace, you just keep it on. You got to choose your battles. But like even with like football, like I would go like football Sundays is big over here in the States, obviously.
Yeah.
And they always have certain places always have like deals like nachos for like $5 and or $1 hot dogs or stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it's good. Like say if you're a fan of a team that isn't local,
Yeah.
or not on prime time, then those places are perfect to go to.
Yeah.
But I want to, like I don't tend to go out that often. Like I would, like a couple times I went to go do like the whole Buffalo wing eating contest and stuff like that. But
You mean those really like deadly hot wings that you have to eat?
no,
Those ones?
like the ones you have to eat a lot in a certain amount of time.
Oh, so it's just natural wings then?
Yeah, like just like not in like a super hot sauce. Like they do have a
Yeah.
couple. There's a sports bar over here called Aruga's.
Yeah.
And they have like you have to sign a waiver before you eat these
Oh yeah,
wings.
because at Buffalo Wild Wings, the times I've been when I was in the state, they have their sauce and they kind of have this thermometer, and at the bottom that's the hottest one. I think they have to eat 20 wings of the hottest sauce. And I don't know if there's a time limit, but once the guy behind me, he did it, and he had to sign a waiver too. And they don't give you milk or anything. You have to do it without liquids. And
Yeah.
the guy that guy I was talking about, he managed to do it. And I think that I was going to the bathroom and I congratulated him, and he was kind of like, "Get the fuck away from me." For some
What do you-
reason, he was unnecessarily rude. Probably because his tongue and bowels were on fire. But
Yeah. He was about to. The fucking steam was gonna be coming off the water with that shit. You know what? Like
What?
if when we do meet the one day we do, like we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to just do like a buffalo wing challenge.
Oh,
like
yeah,
get the
for
hottest wings, and it's not even for the reaction of eating it.
Yeah.
It's the whole aftermath.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I love spicy food, but the second like if I look at a hot wing, my fucking stomach like says, dude, you like don't even think about why are you doing this to me.
Yeah.
And then you know the phrase spit hot fire.
Yeah.
That comes out of my ass, but it's not fucking rhymes, you know?
Yeah, because this one time, like at Buffalo Wild Wings, I've never taken anything too spicy. I'll take buffalo, but I'll keep it mild. This one time, I went to Burger King and I tried their spicy chicken marinara, whatever it was, and there's a certain level of spiciness that once you cross that level, it stops being enjoyable and it's just flat out painful. And I don't know how people can enjoy it.
No. You're not, when you're doing this, you're not doing it to enjoy it. You're not going to go, let me have the hottest buffalo wings. I don't care who you are. If you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, I want to see, if you're one of those people, I want to see you fucking wipe your eyes after you do this.
Yeah.
Okay? I want you to get a little piece of hair or like an eyelash in your eyes, and I want you to pick it out after you eat these wings.
Yeah. You know who's gonna be eating more at the sports bar lately? Colorado Avalanche fans. Did you hear what happened?
That's
a no. Well, their TV provider that does the hockey games, I think it's called Altitude Sports. They got into like some contract dispute with the NHL. I don't know the specifics, unfortunately, but the bottom line, the result is that Colorado fans, they can't watch the hockey on their TV. Altitude isn't broadcasting the hockey on TV for some reason. So it's something contractual, but they can't get the games anymore, so they can't watch the hockey games. And of course, you can buy the NHL pack, but there might be blackout restrictions or stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
It really
That's
sucks
what I'm saying.
for them.
You can't just, unless you go illegally and you listen to like say they're playing the Kings, you could listen to the Kings broadcast.
Yeah,
that's really shitty. That is a really shitty thing to do.
That it completely is, and it really sucks for them.
I never ever heard. See, they used to kind of black out Devils games over here.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. If like it wasn't a sellout, so like the see back in the 90s, the way that if you didn't pay for it, the way you watched porn was through scrambled TV.
Yeah.
And
porn?
Oh, dude, you don't know about scrambled porn?
No, I'm too young. What the hell's scrambled? Do they
see,
fucking scrambled eggs or something?
No, okay. Years and years ago, before cable went really digital, with like all the boxes, it used to literally just be a wire that ran to the TV.
Yeah.
So with that, certain like premium channels would not come in unless you paid for them, unless you called up and you paid for them. Now, I guess I think it was Sportsnet at the time. Yeah. They had like a whole sports channel.
Yeah.
They had a whole deal with the Devils. Like you'd see the pregame start and stuff, and then like right as soon as the puck was about to drop on a home game, it would just like, I guess the equivalent is like
blackout.
Squiggles. It would, but no, it wouldn't say anything. It would just like be like scrambled, like on. It's hard to describe. Like everything would just be. It wouldn't be a snowstorm, but it would just like be distorted. Yeah. Kind of blurry.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like old TVs, like you see people like hitting them.
Yeah.
So, but you could hear the game, and at the time, Doc Emmerich was the Devils broadcaster. So, you know, Doc Emmerich painted a great picture with words. So, like sometimes I would have to listen just to Doc Emmerich.
Yeah,
and then like then I realized that it was ridiculous. But so it's kind of like, you know, or you'd have to like if they were playing the Rangers, you'd have to go on the Rangers broadcast or the Islanders broadcast. It would all depend, but. Scrambled porn was the same thing. You could kind of make it out, like, and there would be some times where you'd have like a couple seconds of it on being unscrambled,
Yeah.
But and you could hear everything.
You have
and
to
then
use your imagination sometimes.
You'd have to use your imagination, and you'd have to. It was like kind of like watching a Picasso, the porn, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If only Doc
So
Emmerich could narrate the porn, that would, dude,
yeah,
I would pay thousands of dollars to see that.
oh yeah.
Peter
And here he
Norris
is,
with the
coming
cum
the
shot.
He's coming with the pizza, pepperoni, preferably. And she doesn't have money to pay.
Yeah.
She's reaching in her purse. It turns out that she used her last $20 on rent, and now she's bartering with the pizza guy. The pizza guy's reaching for the phone. He's trying to call his superior. Oh, she's on her knees.
Yeah. Hey, Jake.
What a remarkable save!
Yeah. I'm just gonna do my Talking Habs impression and tell you, guys, let's stop talking about porn. We can't be talking about porn. Anyway, shot at Talking Habs. But you know what? Technology, and we're going to get to the news soon, but technology has advanced so much that now our provider here that we have in Canada, it's Bell. It's named after Alexander Graham Bell, the guy who invented the telephone or some shit. But we have Bell, and the Canadians play in the Bell Center, and the way it is, the technology, there's this thing called Bell Fibe. You download the app on your phone, and you can watch live TV, all of the channels on your phone, wherever you are. Just at the gym right now, I put on some RDS, which is the sports channel, and I listen to it live, and it's really, really clear. And there's this option where you can download the channels and download the episode and like watch it the next day or something. So on our cruise to Israel, with the time differences and everything, the hockey games aired live at 4 a.m. Obviously, I'm not going to watch it at 4 a.m., so I would download it off Bell Fibe, and I would watch it the next morning. Like, it sucks that you don't have it because with your daughter and everything, watching Porky Pig or whatever.
No, I watch it through Optimum. I could be like on my phone, like into my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it on my phone, like
Okay.
just
So
when
you
the
do
game's
have
on and stuff, and then
Live?
if I'm watching something else, yeah, live.
Oh, okay. So I guess
We have that. Don't worry.
I was happy because I thought it was something that Canada has and the U.S. doesn't, but you guys.
No, that's not going to happen. Please, except the free healthcare thing.
Yeah. On that note,
Yeah.
why don't we get to the
Off her chin. Oh.
Jesus. On that note, on the off your chin note, why don't we get to the hockey
Or bored.
news? And our first topic of the day, it involves the Pittsburgh Penguins. There was a minor trade between the Anaheim Ducks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Anaheim Ducks have acquired defenseman Erik Gudbranson from the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for forward Andreas Martinson and a 7th round pick. So, as I said, kind of a minor trade. I think that the important thing to keep in mind with this trade is that the Pittsburgh Penguins are trying to clear up some cap space. Maybe they're going to do something moving on in the future, get another asset or sign someone. I don't really know. But when I look at this, right off the bat, I think that Gudbranson, or whatever he's called, I think he's at this point a better player than Martinson. Because Martinson, whether it be with Colorado, whether it be with Montreal, whether it be with the Blackhawks, people look at him and they see his speed and they see his size. And we just expect him to sort of be this big power forward. But with those teams I mentioned in the past that didn't really click. So I don't think there's any reason to believe that it's going to click in Pittsburgh, unfortunately. I hope it does for the players' sake. Obviously, I don't wish ill will on any players. But when I look at this, it's kind of to clear cap space for the Pittsburgh Penguins. What do you think, Jake?
It probably is. They have a tons and tons of caps. That they're going to need to clear. Especially, Murray's not going to be on that rookie deal for that much longer.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need to get some defensemen.
Yeah. Now Gudbranson, I said he's not like a top 4 at this point. I'll say that he's kind of a depth defenseman. He was actually a really high draft pick. I don't remember the year. Maybe it was 2010 or 2011. I know that he went number 3 overall. So
I do remember that.
He was viewed as having a lot of talent, and if you remember, that was in an era where big defensemen, they were really valued higher than they are now. Now you see little guys like Boqvist or Quinn
Seth
Hughes.
Jones.
Okay, Seth Jones is a bigger guy, but he can skate.
I think that's why I think he's smaller, just because of how he skates.
Speed, yeah. Now, and another good example was when Montreal drafted Jared Tenorti. Tenorti, he was a captain in junior. He was a captain with the U.S. He was a captain in the NHL. And expectations were pretty big for him. He was viewed as this big, kind of Gudbranson type, this big defensive defenseman. He never panned out. Why? Because the league has become so fast that these big guys, they can't really follow the speed, unfortunately. But the thing with Gudbranson, I think he still can offer things like character, defensive play, and he can fight. If you haven't seen that Travis Harmonic fight with Gudbranson, he absolutely destroyed Hamannik's face. I mean, this guy's a beast.
I'll take a look at that later.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, check that out. But that guy can totally fight. Another one is Ryan White versus Gudbranson. He absolutely destroyed Ryan White. I remember that because he used to play for the Canadiens. So that's another one to check out. As I'm speaking, the Arizona Coyotes and the Sabres, they're currently in overtime. There's 2 minutes 30 left. Arizona is completely dominating them. The shots are 44-26. As Phil Kessel, Phil Kessel's done reasonably well. I know that he's not as well surrounded in Arizona as he was with Pittsburgh, but I think statistically he's doing okay. And as we mentioned on the podcast before, he moves really well for a fat guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. He has definitely a lot of power in his legs. Yeah. So, what are they saying? When one year he was competing in the fastest skater competition, and they were saying Phil Kessel has a low center of gravity, and here he goes, and it was like, okay, we get it. The guy's like a fucking giant freight train.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's like a polite way of calling him fat.
That's why. I hope somebody comes up to me and is like, you know what, sir, you have a low center of gravity.
Yeah. Did
I ever tell you the story about when the guy, when I was at Costco?
No, but say that story, and after I have a similar story. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was having lunch at Costco, and I'm sure everyone knows Costco is the giant fucking everything sold in bulk warehouse. So they have like cheap hot dogs. For $1.50 you get a hot dog and a soda. Yeah, they're great. They're great. They're huge, and so. But I decided to switch it up, and I got a slice of pizza. And I saw a guy that I used to work with at Costco, and I was talking to him, and he was eating lunch too. Mm-hmm. I'm eating lunch, and this one old guy comes out of nowhere and says to me, he looks at me and says, "You're gonna get fat from eating that." And I looked at him. And, normally people would be appalled, but I looked at him and said, "Gonna get fat?" And I went like this. I was like, dude, I'm already fucking there. And he just walked away and shook his head. I was like, that's a compliment. You said I'm gonna get fat.
Now, how serious was he? Was he saying this
dude was I when he yelled when he left, I was like, thank you, Jack LaLanne, and I'm like, he was dead serious, out of nowhere. And it wasn't just me and my the one guy I used to work with having lunch. It was other people, and it's Costco. It's not like anybody goes to Costco and gets a salad, when they're eating at Costco.
Do they sell smoked meat at your Costco?
They probably do.
Okay, because I know they do in Canada because it's a big Canadian thing. But it's really good. Every time we would go, we would get some smoked meat. It's really good.
You mean like at the concession stands?
I don't know what it is. They have kind of this mini fast food stand or something.
Oh no! You mean like a sample?
No, not a sample. It's they actually sell it. Yeah.
Okay, you buy it and you bring it home and smoke it, or do you?
No.
Do you eat it there?
They have these tables.
No. We don't have.
Okay, so it's a Canadian thing.
No, we don't have that. That must be a Canadian thing.
Yeah, they sell.
That sounds good.
They sell pizza, hot dogs,
Yeah.
and smoked meat. Anyway, this isn't an advertisement for Costco, but I was gonna tell you the story that it reminds me of. We all know of my infamous gorilla tail injury or whatever it was, where my tailbone was sticking out too much, and one of the doctors said that I wasn't as evolved as other people, and that's why my tailbone was sticking out, because apparently we evolved from monkeys or some shit, whatever. So what happened is that they had to shave my tailbone.
Socialized healthcare, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. You want all free healthcare? Well, you're going to get people calling you less evolved and people saying what I'm about to say. What happened?
I saw a bat eating bugs off his sister once.
What happened was that I had to get my tailbone shaved down because it was sticking out, and every time I would sit down, it would like kind of rub up against my skin and cause irritation, and it got infected. Anyway, so the surgeon who did it was actually my next door neighbor, so it was fucking awkward. Like I didn't know it was gonna be him.
So he saw you naked, pretty much.
Dude, I didn't know it was gonna be him. He walks in the room and he's just like, "Oh, so how's things been? How's your mother? Oh, I enjoyed your potato salad at the last block party. So strip down and tear your pants down." It was fucking awkward. He saw my ass, and one thing about my ass, as you may tell from my chest, I'm a really hairy guy, and it's no different with my ass. It's just like a fur coat on it. So he didn't say anything. Well, he did say my disease that happens to hairy people more often than not. I don't know why, but he didn't say anything. What happened was that I got operated. They shaved it down, and I had this open gash on my tailbone, and they had to keep it open for whatever reason. I don't know the reason why they had to keep it open, but they put this mesh in it, this sort of wick, this candle wick. They put it in it, and to keep it open. And every day for about 2 months, I had to go to the CLSC. That's kind of a place with nurses and like free healthcare shit. It's a place with nurses. I had to go there every day to have that piece of mesh, that piece of gauze switched out for a new one. And pretty much every day it was a new nurse. And so I went there. This one nurse, I pull my pants down. She takes a look at my ass and she says, I apologize. I don't know what's the translation to English. She says, "T'as une belle pilosité." I think the translation would be, "You have a nice coat." Like a coat of fur. And I'm going at her. I'm like, okay, that's the nice way of saying that I'm hairy. And FYI, I realized it. I don't know what's the deal with people. My cousin did this to me over the weekend. I guess like I bent down and he saw my back. And he's like, "Dude, you have a hairy back." I'm like, "Bruh, don't you think I know it? I live with myself. I look at myself naked all the time. I know that I'm hairy. Like, stop reminding me. It's not like my house is voided of mirrors."
Dude, look, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show right now.
Yeah.
Let me see. Like, I have no hair.
You're like a big hairless baby. Like,
oh, yeah. And I shaved,
yeah.
So, I got the 5 o'clock shadow going, but no hair. Look, nothing.
Dude.
Nothing.
One guy.
It's nuts. It's nuts. I feel like a child.
Like I said, it was a new nurse every time. This one nurse, at some point, he had enough. He decided to shave my ass. That was the only time in my life I got my ass shaven by another dude.
And then you found out that it wasn't a nurse. Yeah, no, he was just hanging out in the parking lot with a razor.
Well, he said that if I get any hair in the opened wound, that could infect it or something like that. So he said, "We have to shave you immediately." And I was like, whatever. It was sort of relaxing.
Have you ever been went waxing yourself?
No.
Would you ever do it?
You know who tells me I have to get lasered? My fucking dad. And I always tell him I don't really care.
Now is your bro? I almost asked if your sister's hairy, but is your brother hairy too?
He's hairy, but I don't think he's as hairy as me. But the thing with my brother, he shaves constantly. He's always fucking shaving his legs like a little girl, and I don't really care.
He shaves his legs. I don't shave my legs, but like they don't look hairy at all. Like
No, I'm a fucking like it really bothered me when I was young, but to answer your question now, I don't think I would ever shave. Like I
so
don't
like
think it bothers me enough.
were you like a kid like when 11 years old and you had like a mustache starting?
Oh yeah. I got bullied all the time in high school because I was the only one with a mustache, and the French, they would call it a softie, a mole, because it's not like rugged hair, it's kind of this prepubescent soft hair. So they would say like go shave your mustache. And I remember in art class we had to do self-portraits of ourselves. They gave us this little mirror and we had to draw our profile. And the teacher told me she didn't give me a high grade because she said I didn't draw the mustache in. So that's my experience in French high school.
You have like the worst. Like I'm surprised you haven't shot up a high school. Like I'm just like
if I were
know
in the
that
U.S., I probably would, but guns are
you
illegal.
probably would have. Yeah. God bless for everybody for everything. Though I think you would have less of the problems.
Yeah.
that you did just because your parents were like, fuck it, yeah. He'll learn eventually that we don't speak that nobody speaks English here really.
Well, you say I have less problems, but now the way the style is. It's a style to have a big beard. At least it is here in Quebec. But it's a style to have like short hair on the side and have like this humongous lumberjack beard. So my cousin, who was in his first year of high school, the age I was when I was getting bullied for my soft mustache, I told him like, dude, you have hair all over your face. Why don't you shave it? He's like, no, I'm trying to grow out a beard. I'm getting bullied because I don't have hair. So it's kind of turning around currently. It's weird, but hey,
you know what?
Back
if you
on your
didn't
question, though, like the only hair that really bothers me is my back hair because, admittedly, that's less attractive. But my legs and my chest, I really don't care that much. And I have a lot of hair on my chest, but I don't care at this point. I really don't. And the ass bothers me a little bit, but really few people actually get to see my ass. So I don't think I'd ever have that lasered or waxed or anything. So there you go. This is the Sin Bin hair talk.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
get a hairy ass, and I don't have any hair except on my head and my face when I don't shave.
Yeah. Do you want hair, or you're happy that way?
I'm happy this way.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the only way I know. It's not like I say. I look at people with hairy shirts. So like, one day, Jake. One day.
All right, back to hockey. If you've made it this far in the episode, we do have some hockey content.
Yeah, and we do.
We're going to talk about another Colorado story. We're going to talk about Mikko Rantenen because I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is incredible. So the Colorado forward, Mikko Rantenen, he's currently considered week to week with a leg injury. He will be reevaluated next week to get a more precise timeline. But how the injury goes, it was in a game versus the St. Louis Blues. I put the image up on the screen. It is actually gruesome. So he was skating sort of behind Colton Parayko. And I don't know if there was a chip in the ice or a dent or whatever like that. But his skate kind of got caught in the ice and his ankle completely turned 180 the other direction. It takes a few minutes to kind of compute what's going on in this photo, but you can see his ankle is completely facing the other way. And it's not like it stayed like that for minutes. It like switched back the other way really quickly, but holy crap, that is an ankle sprain if I've ever seen one. And coming from someone who had an ankle sprain a few weeks ago, they don't feel too good, and they don't look good either. So
I have a bad left ankle myself, and that one looks like, like you do like the highlights for children magazine, and I go, what's wrong here in this picture?
Oh yeah,
that's what it looks like. Like, oh well, that the leg should not be the skate should not be facing that way. Yeah. Well, that's that. It looked like it was photoshopped. Like, that's how bad it looked.
Yeah, and obviously I don't want to put the blame on anyone or anything like that. And I'm not trying to start any conspiracy theory or anything like that. But there was a play in the first period when Nathan MacKinnon, he scored a goal, but he kind of stumbled and then he got back up and shot and it went in the net. The place on the ice where he stumbled, it's the exact same spot where Rantenen got injured. So I don't know if there was something wrong in the ice or whoever made the ice, if there was in that particular spot, if there was something wrong, whether it be a chip or a dent or anything like that. But I look back at Nathan MacKinnon's goal that he scored earlier on in that period, and he tripped at that exact same spot. But regardless, that's not really important at this point. Moving
And you want to know
forward-
the sad thing is?
What is it?
None of the Colorado fans got to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously those blackouts or whatever happening in Colorado.
Yeah.
But hey, obviously this is a humongous blow for Colorado. I don't think it's like a do or die situation. I don't think it's the end of the world. If that happened to Nathan MacKinnon, it would be quite a different response. I would be saying this is the end of the world. But hey, I don't know how long it's going to be, but they have enough firepower on that team. Nathan MacKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, more recently Tyson Jost, who's looking to be that player who they drafted. He recently got a hat trick against Tampa Bay of all teams. So I think with those players, they can kind of pick up some of the slack that Mikko Rantenen left off. But hey, we just have to mention it. This is a huge blow for the Colorado Avalanche.
A
guy like that,
Definitely.
who has size and speed and who could keep up with Nathan MacKinnon. If you look at Nathan MacKinnon's skate, he's like a power skater. I mean, it's incredible how fast he is. He and Connor McDavid, who I'm actually wearing his jersey right now, they're the two fastest players in the league, in my opinion. Definitely top three. So the fact that Mikko Rantenen can keep up with him, it's kind of incredible. I don't want to play doctor or anything like that because I don't know anything about ankle sprains, but with my ankle sprain that I suffered, I don't think it's going to be as long as some people suspect. Maybe 2 weeks or something like that. But they teach us in pharmacy school RICE, which is rest, ice. I think the C is compress or some shit. And the E is elevate. So if he follows that model and just puts a bunch of ice and, gets a bunch of physio, elevates that ankle, I don't think it's going to be as long-term as some people suspect. But obviously, huge blow for the Colorado Avalanche. Anything else on this story?
The one thing, because I've had ankle problems for probably like the last 15 years.
Is it
on
sprains?
my left. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I sprained it really bad last year. Just I stepped in a hole in my yard.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. that was bad. And but then every once in a while my ankle would just go, "Fuck you, fat ass," and just roll over. And soccer injuries like that, in high school, it just kind of it never got better. But the one thing that I always kind of made me feel a little bit better was playing hockey. One, because you have your foot steady in a boot.
Oh, so ice hockey.
Yeah, well, I saw a roller.
Oh yeah, I saw a roller.
Your foot is kind of sturdy inside the boot.
Yeah.
So I mean, week to week, you're never ever gonna truly recover from a sprain.
Yeah.
So he could be probably out for at least, I'm gonna say a good month.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
I'm gonna say a month. That's just me. He's a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And his body's gonna heal a lot differently than yours and mine.
For sure.
So I'm gonna say a week.
A week or a month?
I'm sorry, a month.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. So
2 days, pussy.
It's not skating or roller, but I play in this hockey league every Tuesday. A couple of guys, they rented out this school gym, and we put up 2 nets and we have this game going. And I usually play defense, so the ball goes, and it's floor hockey, so it's in our sneakers. So the ball goes in the corner. I'm the first one there. But this guy behind me on the other team, he's trying to get the body position. So he puts the stick right in front of me. I end up stepping on his stick, and I don't have video replay or anything like that, but I felt like my ankle completely flipped the other way, and I was pissed off, and it was really painful. And does it ever happen to you that you're in so much pain you're about to pass out?
Last year when I rolled over my ankle, I fell down and I started screaming, and it was pouring rain. Yeah. And my wife didn't hear me, and my neighbor did hear me. Like I thought my tire was flat on my car.
Yeah.
And I was going to check that, and and I felt, she goes, okay, whatever. She closed the door, and I went down screaming, and my neighbor actually called the cops. I thought I broke it.
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard it go crunch, crunch, crunch. But no. And I did feel like, I was going to pass out, you know. So.
Yeah. Like, I was on the floor. I felt like I was going to pass out. I ended up missing, I think, 2 weeks. And I judged that after 2 weeks I was good enough to play. So I went back last week, and this time I played forward. I wanted to play forward because it's been quite a while I didn't play, and defense, in my opinion, it's a harder position. So anyway, I went forward, and I'm behind the other team's net, and their defenseman comes up to me, and Jake Link, he gives me the biggest slash on the ankle. And it hit, like the part
I don't know
of the
why
ankle.
I thought he was going to say, he gives me the biggest kiss.
The part on the side of the ankle that kind of sticks out, like that bone that sticks out?
Oh, yeah.
He gets me right on it. And
you gotta get a brace or something.
Yeah, and it's on the other ankle. So now 2 of my ankles are fucked, and I was not happy. It didn't sprain, so I didn't fall down or anything, but I slashed my stick on the floor it's so fucking hard. And I went down, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And on my way to the bench, I must have slashed my stick like 3 times. I thought it was going to explode. And then I go to sit on the bench, and I fall down because my ankle kind of gave up. And then I went to walk in the hallway, and eventually I was okay. I apologized to the guy. I said, listen, I fucked my ankle last time, and I was just really mad because, hey, I didn't want my other ankle to get a beating too. But anyway, that's what we had to say on the Rantenen injury. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Our next story,
because we could relate with our shitty ankles.
Yeah, with our shitty ankles. Our next story, it involves another bad news, actually. You see this picture? This isn't from the set of Twister or anything. This is actually Tyler Seguins' home. So he is safe. Obviously, a tornado destroyed the house that he recently moved out of and put up for sale. So the day that it happened, after the tornado, Ben Bishop served as the backup because his home was also destroyed by a tornado. The roof was ripped off, and he didn't get any sleep, basically. And his wife and baby, they had to spend the night in a storm shelter. Or, sorry, they spent the night at Jamie Ben's, actually. So both Seguin and Ben Bishop's, their house are totaled by the tornado. Not really much to talk about. I just wanted to mention it for some.
The house looks like fucking like a fucking supervillain's lair right now. Yeah. That's shitty. That's sad.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ben Bishop. What? I didn't realize that I got that far up the beanstalk to get to Ben Bishop's house.
Yeah.
3, 5, 4, 5. Oh, we gotta go.
Dude, there's not much positive to take out of this, but the one, I guess, little positive thing is that at least he wasn't in the house. He put it up for sale, so I don't think he was in there, from what I understand for the story. But
I'm pretty sure the value has gone down.
Yeah. Hey, while we're talking,
for what he has for sale.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out. Hey, while I'm talking, there's this kind of Montreal Canadiens show that I'm watching on the TV on mute currently, and they were showing highlights from the Toronto Maple Leaf game. There was a play that happened where Kerfoot, he absolutely rammed Max Domi in the boards. Really a dirty play, if I might say so myself, but Domi was okay. he immediately drops the gloves and goes for this humongous uppercut. He misses Kerfoot's face by this much. Had he connected with that punch, Kerfoot would have been out. But I just thought I would mention it because I thought that was a really dirty play. And those were two players that were going at it all night. And with Max Domi's temperament, we know he's going to drop the glove and throw punches.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
He's his daddy's child, you know?
He's his daddy's child. One thing I will say, though, he's not like his dad in the sense that he's not as good as a fighter as his dad was. I'm afraid that one day he's going to bite off more than he can chew. We already saw it in a preseason game. Scott Sabourin, who's this huge goon for the Ottawa Senators, I think they dropped the gloves, or it kind of caught him by surprise. Sabourin dropped the gloves, but Max Domi, he wasn't ready to fight. He laid 3 big punches in the backs of Domi's head. And, it's going to come the time where he's going to bite off more than he can chew. But with Max Domi, he's always game. I don't think he's necessarily afraid of everyone. I just love this player. I completely love this player. When they traded him for Galchenyuk, I made a video, and I always had Galchenyuk as a player who's going to break out, score 30 goals. He did it 1 year. I thought that would be a constant thing, so I was really upset when they traded him for a guy who got 9 goals, 4 of them in an empty net. But ever since Domi's been here with Montreal, hey, I've loved every second of him. I think that he won't be a captain because Shea Weber's currently the captain, but he'll wear that A. He can wear it with pride. He'll bring passion every night. I just thought I would mention that story right there. But moving on,
definitely.
our main topic, I guess, for the day pertains to a certain video between Islander fans and a hunter. So there's this man in his car. I believe as the video goes, this man was preparing to hunt a deer. And these two fans, they were this dad and this son, they were playing hockey in the street. I say they're Islanders fans because the kid has this Islanders sweater and the dad has this Islanders cap. It happened in Long Island. So they approach the vehicle with this hunter and they go off. They start mouthing this hunter. And I'm going to play the video quickly here if you guys haven't seen it. So this is the video.
I want to know why you want to kill deer.
Because I eat them.
Why?
Because I eat them.
What does deer do to you?
All right, you're on video. I eat them. Do you buy meat from the supermarket?
Yeah, but we're not going.
You know they get killed. They get killed in dirty areas. Nasty, a whole bunch
This is
of
not a dirty, nasty area.
blood leaking. That's why I'm saying. That's why you don't want that.
You're like a hero on Long Island right now.
What?
Because kids are upset. They're crying because you want to kill deer.
I'm
in a
sorry that they're
residential
crying. You need to explain to
How
them
would
that
you
it's
like
part
to
of
see
life.
deer?
No,
dead.
why don't you go, Luke? Get away.
Excuse me,
Do you
please
have
don't
a
hit my
pack-
car.
Do you have a
Yeah, so obviously it goes on for a little longer. But Jake, I want to throw this to you first of all. What was your thoughts on the video?
The kid's stick really bothered me.
What was it, like a plastic tip or whatever?
It was okay. It was like taped with like duct tape, and the I don't mind the plastic because we all played street hockey with plastic, and I've even played with a stick somewhere. Yeah. But it was like, as you start to get a little bit more, I guess, like into the game, you kind of don't
I like how
to have
that's
those.
the one thing that bothered you of the video.
No, okay. That is like it bothered me. I bet he's the type of person to hold a stick with 2 hands when playing goalie.
Dude, if you look at the comments, because I put the full video on my channel, you guys can actually check that out. I'll probably link it in the description. But if you look at that at the comments on the full video, they are freaking hilarious. This one guy wrote, "This kid is going to grow up to be transgender." Like,
oh god, oh yeah,
dude, they are freaking hilarious.
He had drag queen qualities. He definitely did. Yeah.
Someone
and that kid was making me blush with his mouth. Holy shit, That dude is like this fucking asshole's trying to hunt fucking Bambi and shit.
Yeah. I like
okay.
I like the point in the video where the kid says, "Would you shoot your pet?" And then the hunter says, "A deer is a pet." and then the kid just really doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And
Yeah, no,
something I always found cringy was when little kids, they try to be adult and they try to be quote unquote cool, and they swear and say cuss words. And when this kid, he's just like, fuck you, fuck you. Like, I could not cringe anymore. Or when he's like, you're an asshole. I was like,
yeah,
kid,
and then he
shut
gets
up.
really mad and throws his shitty hockey stick at the end.
Yeah, like,
You know,
he throws
what
it.
was this guy? Like, what was this guy doing? Was he like going through people's backyards hunting the deer? No,
I don't know the
and
specifics.
then the guy's like,
yeah.
"You a hero, you a hero," and he's like, you know, being all sarcastic and stuff. It's like, dude, go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah, and the dad, he wasn't being
Yeah.
a good dad. He should have taken his kid and said, hey, buddy, okay, I know you don't like it, but let's just keep playing hockey and whatever. He is who he is. But instead, they both confront him. And the kid, he's saying, fuck you, and you swear words and cuss words. And I'm a little more conservative. I don't like to see kids swear like that. But this dad was just letting him be and letting him say whatever he wanted to say. And message to the kid. I mean, you eat salmon. You eat chickens. You probably eat steaks too. You eat.
I liked when the guy was like saying, he's like, you know, a lot of these animals that you eat coming from very dirty areas. And then the kid goes, well, this isn't a dirty area. It's like more reason that you should hunt it. You know, I'm just saying. Well, you know, listen, deer hunting is there for a reason. There are way too many deer, and you know, it's kind of helps control the population.
Yeah.
So that's why it's there. I don't think the guy was like shooting. I don't know. Like, what was he doing? Like, was he coming back to his car from hunting a deer? Was he dragging a deer carcass?
I don't know the specifics, whether he had a deer in his or on his car, or whether he was preparing to shoot a deer. It sounds from the video that he was about to shoot a deer. And
you know, it'd be funny. He said, "God damn, no wonder fucking Tavares left." Jesus Christ! No wonder nobody wants you to fucking go to your goddamn fucking games. You know,
I think someone commented that.
Oh, this is why Tavares left.
Yes, he was probably a fan of deer, and everyone kept criticizing him. So he's like, fuck this, I'm leaving to Toronto. And little did he know, you're not allowed guns in Toronto. So anyway, so
yeah, he should have said, you know who I'm getting this deer for? Volarmov. Yeah, that's the thing. So, Volarmov, who's a fucking wife beater, is their goalie, and they're mad because somebody who hunts, and these people are acting like they've never known anybody who's ever hunted before.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, they're like, well, it's, you know, oh my God, there's somebody who hunts.
Yeah.
Like, this is like such a foreign concept to them.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going on this a little longer than I wanted, but I do have to say here, when his mom or his dad, whoever does the groceries, when they come home with this pack of steak, I mean, does he think the cow just gave birth to that steak that's like already cut up and already prepackaged or anything? No, they had to kill a cow, and they had to cut it all up, and they had to package it. So I mean,
dude, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to think about it, like, eating meat is kind of like strippers. You know, it's all fun and games until you know their backstory.
Yeah. And hey, the guy, when he said that you get meat from dirty areas or whatever the quote was, I think what he was trying to say that is that the meat that you eat, the chicken or the fish or the whatever it is, they kill it in brutal ways. Like, I saw videos on internet of pigs getting like their necks slit up or whatever, and they're just in complete agony. I mean, shooting a deer.
Don't you call them infidels?
Yeah. Jesus, we're gonna lose viewers. Like,
yeah, is
call
that
me
your cousin that did that?
Yeah, call me old-fashioned. I think that animals like deers, they were put on this earth. God put them on this earth for a purpose, to feed us. It's the circle of life. Like, hey, in The Lion King, when they sing, it's the circle of life. Like, it's all fun and games, and the animals, they're dancing and whatever. But what that song is saying is that Mufasa and Simba, they're going to eat all of the fucking zebra. And they're going to eat all of the fucking antelopes and whatever. And the antelopes, they're just, singing and dancing. And they're like, circle of life, we're going to get eaten and mutilated. But hey, that's the circle of life. And that's the way it is in this video. Like, the deer, I know they're cute. And I know Bambi, whatever the fuck you want. Whatever. But hey, we have to be fed. And deer, they're a good source of meat. As long as you shoot it in a way that it's not going to harm them, in a way that they won't suffer or be tortured, I think that's okay.
That's the only way. I like to waterboard deer.
All right, let's move on to our next story. I think we went on a while.
That's right.
Our next
Korean
story,
fan death.
We're not going to spend too much time on it because I made a separate video on it. Of course, Jake probably didn't see it because he never watches my video. But last Friday,
I try to.
In a game between the San Jose Shark and the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brendan Dillon threw a hit on Austin Matthews. He caught him with his head down. And it was a big controversy in Toronto because some people were saying, hey, it was a high hit. Hey, it was a hit to the head. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, Matthews, he did go to the locker room. He did come back in the game, so it was more worry than anything. And Brendan Dillon, he didn't get suspended. The league judged that it wasn't a hit to the head. But as I said, it was kind of a controversy. I'm going to echo some of my sentiments that I said in my video, but you guys can check it out on my channel. It's called Dear Austin Matthews, Keep Your Head Up. And that's my sentiments. Matthews, keep your head up. Whether the hit is
and
clean.
you're stick on the ice.
And you're stick on the ice. Whether the hit is clean, whether the hit is dirty, whatever the hit is, some of the blame, some of the responsibility goes on Austin Matthews' shoulders because he's a big guy, but he's crossing the center of the ice and he has his head down. I mean, this is a big boys league. Grow the fuck up, Austin Matthews. I mean, grow up. I know you have a big boy mustache, but you have to act older too, and you have to act with experience. And a player with experience has his head on a swivel. He's not just crossing the ice with his head down. I mean, in the era, as you said, in the era of Scott Stevens, he would be massacred every game. He would just not survive. And I'm just saying this, Maple Leafs fans, don't come at me. I'm saying this because I care for your team. Your team is better when they have Austin Matthews in the lineup. So if he's getting injured or if he's out of the lineup, you guys can't win. So how to avoid injuries, instead of blaming Brendan Dillon, whether it's dirty or not, I'm not going to comment on that, whether it's dirty or not. As you may have realized, I didn't say whether I find it dirty or not. The best way to avoid injuries is to not let that injury happen in the first place by keeping your head up.
That's what they always say. That's what you learn. Keep your head up.
Yeah.
I think it was clean. I don't think it was a dirty hit. It wasn't even that hard.
Yeah, I think it was clean too. There's my thoughts. I think it was clean. And obviously, I'm not wrong because the NHL, they agree with me. The safety department. But that's all I had to say with it. If you want to know more of my thoughts, go look at my channel and you guys can dislike the video. Like, the bad thing about me, or I shouldn't say the bad thing, but the thing that sucks about my videos, I always do it on a controversial subject. It's not like I do it on a, hey, their team is scoring and everyone's happy. It's always a controversial subject, so...
Can I tell you something? It's funny, like you say, it's like, well, you don't watch my videos. And like, I always see the alerts like pop up on my, like, on my phone.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I didn't watch your videos, but I did watch an ASMR video of dogs licking.
ASMR? What is that?
That's like sounds and stuff.
Oh.
Somebody sent it to me, but it's literally just 5 hours of. That's
disgusting.
all it is.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. Because actually, because I posted a meme of somebody found an audio tape of just dogs licking their buttholes. I'm gonna send that to you.
Yeah. Are you into that licking ass? Are you one of those people? Feel free to not
depends.
answer if it's too personal.
No, dude. Yeah, I mean, I will if it's clean.
Yeah, if it's clean. All right.
If I hear coming from the bathroom like 5 minutes, like, all right, I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
If
they had a chicken wing competition at Buffalo Wild Wings a few hours before, it's probably not the best idea.
It's the best time.
Yeah. No, especially if it was the Parmesan garlic flavor. But hey, speaking of licking ass, John Carlson, at the I don't think it's currently the case, but I think as of last Friday, he was currently first in points through the first 10 games of the season, and that puts him in elite company. He is second among defensemen in the first 10 games when it comes to points. He had 18 points and a rating of plus 15. Paul Coffey is the first. He had 20 points and a rating of plus 17. And the third and fourth, it's Bobby Orr. There's 2 seasons in a row where he had 18 points throughout the 10 games. Washington, I just wanted to mention, there was a game earlier this week against the Vancouver Canucks. They were down 5-1. And the Canucks pulled off a New Jersey Devils. They gave up 4 goals. And the Washington Capitals ended up winning 6-5 in the shootout. And I watched that game. It was painful to watch. If you're any Vancouver fan, you must have been wincing in pain watching that, because seeing them drop 5 goals in a row, Maron. Anyway, so good for Carlson. That puts him in elite company. Speaking about Coffey and players like Bobby Orr, I mean, if you're mentioned in the same sentence as those guys, you're a special player. And I've been saying this for a while. John Carlson is really underrated.
Very.
Like, it's not even
but
funny.
Look where he plays. You have Kuznetsov. You have Brandon Holtby. You have, who's it? What's it? Ovechkin. You have Backstrom.
Yeah.
All on that team. And then you have John Carlson, the guy just shows up and does his job. You know.
And I remember
gets very little notoriety
when he first entered in the league, or like the first 3 or 4 seasons. My late uncle, we would talk about hockey all the time, and he said, "Look out for this one player, John Carlson." He says, "This guy is so good, I wouldn't trade him for PK Subban." And obviously, me being the biggest PK Subban fanboy, I was like, "No, what are you talking about, John Carlson? Pfft. It's not even Erik Carlson." I was so wrong on that. I mean, at this point in their career, I wouldn't trade John Carlson for PK Subban, whatever the situation is. I mean, that is not a fair trade. John Carlson is such the superior player. But ever since my uncle told me that, I started paying more attention to him. So I don't want to brag or anything like that, but I was kind of ahead of the curve when it came to John Carlson.
What are you, a fucking hipster? I knew John Carlson before he was John Carlson.
I knew John Carlson before he was John Carlson.
Oh, you mean John Carlson? You mean Jonathan Carlson? Fucking hipster hockey fan.
I knew he was a good player. And hey, in our high school, Canadian high school, there was this website. It was called freehockeyleague.com or some crap like that. What it was sort of a game where we were each given a team, and we were the general manager of that team, and we could do trades with our friends. So I was given the Atlanta Thrashers at the time, and I have all of the Thrashers players, and one of my friends, his name was Alexis. Yeah, it was a guy, French Canada, they name guys Alexis. So this guy Alexis
and Michelle.
Michelle, he had, and oh shit, I think I have a viewer called Alexis. I'm sorry about that. You don't have a girl name. It's actually Alexis. So anyway, Alexis, he had the Washington Capitals, and I made this trade. I traded Zach Bogosian for John Carlson in a second. So I got John Carlson in a second, and I think this was the year that Bogosian was drafted 3rd overall, and he was viewed as this next big thing. But me knowing a lot about John Carlson, not trying to be a hipster or anything, I knew that John Carlson was by far the better player, and I got bullied. Just another reason to bully me. They were saying, dude, you traded Bogosian for John Carlson? What the hell is wrong with you? And the whole day, like in science class, I was all stressing out because I'm like, what have I done? But I think the years that have followed, I mean, John Carlson is way ahead of Zach Bogosian. I kind of want to go back to Alexei and say, ha, who's laughing now? And he's probably going to be like, dude, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
he doesn't remember anything. Yeah. But congratulations, John Carlson. Dude, I don't think we could...
always believed in you.
Thank you.
When no one else did.
Thank you. I don't think that we can still call him underrated because he's getting praise. But for the past few years, I mean, ever since the beginning of his career, really, no one ever talked about this guy. He never even sniffed a Norris Trophy. And you know what's the sad thing? I kind of came around on the whole Norris Trophy debate because I know that Burns have won it. Burns and Carlson, they've both won it in the past. And a lot of people, they said, hey, this is a trophy given to the best defenseman. And they're not the best defenseman. They can't play the best defense. And I always said, hey, defensemen, they can either be offensive defensemen or defensive defensemen. It turns out that Burns and Carlson, they're offensive defensemen. Their job is to put up points. Now, my opinion on this subject completely switched 180 degrees. I watched the Toronto San Jose game, and prior to that, I watched the Montreal San Jose game. Jake, Carlson and Burns cannot play defense. They are a mess in their own end. It is, especially Burns. I think that Carlson is a little bit better in his own end, but Burns, the amount of turnovers that he makes, and I hate to rant on the guy because I like him. I like his look. I like the fact that he's missing teeth, but there was so many plays where he could have made a simple, smart decision, and he just ended up rimming it around the boards, and the Toronto Maple Leafs got possession, and he makes so many mistakes. I think it was Drew Doughty who came out last year, and he completely roasted Brent Burns. He said, I've never seen a player who can't play defense like him. I like when players speak their mind. I don't think it was really classy of Drew Doughty. I think Drew Doughty thinks he's much better than he actually is, but I do see his point of view. Carlson and Burns are turnover machines. They will put points up on the board, but goddamn.
See, you know, it's so bad. I forget that Burns is actually a defender. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, Burns, there he is. Oh, what is he, like a power forward? And then, like, you know, you look at the back of the hockey card, it's like, oh yeah, he's a defenseman.
Well, you know, you do know. I don't know if you remember. He did start out as a forward.
He did with Minnesota, right?
Yeah. And
I thought so.
That's one of Minnesota's worst trades. I know a lot of Minnesota fans, they're looking at it. Do you know Jen's 95? We talked about it before. She's this huge channel on YouTube. I watch her videos all the time.
Jen's not. Yeah, I think you.
She tuned into our live draft, and she commented. She said Burns is the one trade that I really, really regret, and I look back at it and I regret it. It's not a good trade for Minnesota. I mean, let's just put that out. It doesn't look good for Minnesota, but I don't think it's quite as bad as some people say, just for the fact that Burns, he can hurt your defense a little bit. He can help your offense tremendously. He'll help your power play. This guy, there's a reason I picked him first overall in my draft, and I'm sort of regretting it a little bit, but there's a reason. He shoots like a mother effer, and he shoots a lot. And he has this really cool snapshot where his wrists, they kind of flex really fast. He kind of has a weightlifter's wrist, and he does this little flick motion, and the release is incredible, and it goes on it.
You took Burns first overall?
Yeah, I took Burns.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I was drafting 4th or 5th, and I had my eyes on one player. For the week prior to the draft, I wanted Nathan MacKinnon. I knew that Crosby was not Crosby. Who the fuck? McDavid. Sorry, I knew that McDavid was going to go first. The second.
I was shocked actually about
Yeah,
that.
who
just
went
'cause it was
second? Was it Kucherov? Yeah,
I
Kucherov
think
went
it was
second.
Kucherov. Yeah.
Yeah. The third guy, it was my friend Joe. Now, I know for a fact that Joe has the biggest boner for Ovechkin. And in our leagues, the past 2 years, whoever the team that had Ovechkin, they're the team that ended up winning. So I was 100% sure this guy was going to draft Ovechkin. So then it's my turn. I had Nathan McKinnon going. Now, as much as he has a boner for Ovechkin, I have a humongous boner for Nathan McKinnon. And I constantly, when we're in class, I constantly talk to him about Nathan McKinnon and how much I like him. I am almost certain he drafted him for that sole purpose, to fuck me over. And he's going to deny it. He's going to deny it. But I got to say, I think that's the sole reason, in my opinion. But as I said, he's going to deny it. But Brent Burns, I think that it could still be a good pick, especially because defensemen, they're kind of thin in fantasy. But, hey, shout out to this channel on YouTube. I think they're called Hockey Fantasy Podcast. Not the most creative of names, but their content, it certainly makes up for that. They have some amazing
Can you just see that meeting? All right, we have a show. We're going to talk about hockey fantasy, and it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, what should we call it? How about the Hockey Fantasy Podcast? Okay, meeting's done. All right.
Yeah. Or if you have a channel where you're talking about the Habs and what can I call it? Oh, talking Habs.
Taking naps.
Taking naps, yeah. Let's move on.
It's not apparent that the line has not now been drawn in the sand.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
Yes.
All right. This unfortunately it's going to be our last story. There is some more news, but I got to cut it a little bit short here.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not short. I think we went overboard. We had our first Heritage Classic. It was between the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames. In my opinion, actually I'll say my opinion a little bit later, but Winnipeg won 2-1 in overtime on a goal by Brian Little. We all know Brian Little for being criticized by Patrick Laine earlier in the offseason. But my opinion that I wanted to say, that I was saving for right now, is that winter games are fun. But it depends on the game. You might hit a game that's really entertaining. I think that a few years back, there was a game between Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. They were playing the Buffalo Sabres. And it was just an incredible game. This game, though, in my humble opinion, I didn't watch most of it, admittedly. I watched the first 2 periods. But in my opinion, snooze fest. Absolute snooze fest. The one downside about winter games is that the players, they're going to have to be battling the sunlight. They're going to have to be battling the snow that's on the ice. And in this particular game, it happened in Winnipeg, there was a significant amount of snow. Pretty much at every stoppage, there was people that came on the ice to shovel the snow. And Justin Gaudreau, what's his first name? Johnny Gaudreau. Jesus.
Yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah,
Johnny Gaudreau, who's probably has top 5 hands in this league and who can stick handle through a phone booth. I mean, there was a play where he was just losing the puck and he couldn't get control of the puck because it was just getting stuck in the snow. So when I see Johnny Gaudreau lose the puck like that, that's when I'm like, okay, the ice conditions aren't the best. And there weren't too many goals. 2-1. It's a barn burner, let's face it. There weren't too many shots either, if I'm not mistaken. But my overall opinion on outdoor games, I think there's a certain novelty about it. I still do think that there's a novelty. I know that a lot of my peers, they think that the novelty has passed, but I think it's still pretty cool. But that being said,
I think it is too.
That game, I think the most entertaining part was the band that played at the halftime. Because they're a pretty good band, but hey, I think that was kind of a barn burner. What's your opinion on outdoor games?
Well, okay. My team did play in the Stadium Series against the New York Rangers and got embarrassed very, very badly against the New York Rangers.
Of all teams.
And yeah, I know, and we were up like Elias had 2 goals in the first period and an assist. They were up 3-0. And then, but I think they're fine, and I do like the novelty of them. And, the specialized jerseys they get and all that. And
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because apart from the band, another big positive was the Winnipeg Jets jersey. That thing was a thing of beauty. The Calgary one wasn't the most original. It looks a lot like their current away jersey, but the Winnipeg Jets one and the one that they wore, I think 2 years ago in another stadium series, they do a great job with their jerseys. I mean, good for the Winnipeg. Not the
they all do. They do a lot of good jobs, like with the stadium series jerseys.
Yeah,
and but I like the fact that they're more in the middle of the season and like not towards the end of the season. When it's like, because, I mean, one thing I learned when playing soccer in high school when it was raining was my coach always preached was like mind over matter.
yeah.
But like, I love the novelty of it, and it's always a spectacle, and it's always great. It's always great, the stadium series, and everyone's mic'd up. It's a thing. Like you got the Drew Doughty, you're bad at hockey line. I love that. He's like, you've been on the fourth line. You've been in the minors for like 4 years, and you play on the fourth line. You're bad at hockey.
And you know who he said that to?
Ryan Getzlaf. Was it Getzlaf?
No, it was Patrick Maroon. And then Patrick Maroon, he later went on to score almost 30 goals, and then later on he went on to win a Stanley Cup. So thank you, Drew Doughty. But dude,
Drew Doughty does have 2.
I love. Yeah, he does. But that brings me to my next point. I like Drew Doughty as a player, at least. I think, contrarily to Burns and Carlson, he's a great defenseman. He plays well in his own ice. I think that the past 2 seasons was kind of another story where he kind of lost interest a little bit, but who can blame him playing on the Kings? My problem with Drew Doughty is that his cockiness and his self-loving. I know that there's a lot of players that like his confidence. I think it's fucking annoying because during the whole Matthew Tkachuk versus Drew Doughty debate, or their feud rather, there was an interview where Drew Doughty, he said something to the effect of, and I know I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect of, hey, I'm a better player. We all know who's the better player. I've won cups. He's saying shit like that. I mean, dude, like, at this point in his career, I don't think there's that much of a difference between Tkachuk and Drew Doughty. So you can stop stroking yourself and, sucking your own dick. I think it's more annoying than anything else. Like, congratulations. You're a great player. You're going to go to the Hall of Fame as soon as you're retired. Easily a first ballot. But you do play on good teams. You do. And it's a team sport. Don't go say I'm a good player. Say my team is good. I'm a piece of the puzzle, but my team is good. I mean, that thing kind of gets on my nerves.
Well, I'm the best player on this fucking Simbin team. Just saying.
You have like a chance out of 2 to be the best player. Don't like be so happy there.
I listen, but I carry this team.
Yeah.
My back hurts from carrying this show.
My back hurts because I'm gaining weight. Either way, his back hurts, my back hurts. I do think it was a good show, though. So I want to thank all of you guys, as I usually say if you've made it this far in the video. I want to thank all of you for sticking around. I know that we go off topic a little bit, but that's the style of the show. I hope that for the hockey content, though, you guys learned a lot and you guys appreciated our opinion. And if you didn't, hey, write it down in the comments why. We're going to have a good little debate. And as per usual, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I got to thank Jake for joining me today. I know we went a little overtime, but hey, I think we had a great show. Started off a little rocky, but I think we finished solid.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said. But hey, for all of yous out there, thank you for listening to the Sin Bin Hockey Podcast, episode 9. And as per usual, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.
And I love you.